Lira Kay is an international best-selling author, a founder of She's Got Passion and the School of Inspired Life, a training center for purpose-driven creative professionals to find information and inspiration to stay on their mission to create a meaningful change in the world. She is the mentor of mentors and started certifying coaches and healers so they would be equipped to be effective, successful, and profitable on their path of helping others. Lira, are you ready to rock the house?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah! Yes! We are now live on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. Welcome to the show, Lira. We're grateful to have you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for inviting me. And it was an amazing connection. Just happened yesterday.
Yes. Yes.
It's in a divine flow. It's
just
all
riding
happening.
the momentum, riding the flow. Gotta love it. So we're going to dive right into the topic of the day, which is evolution. And Lira, how are you evolving your life, your business, your industry, your corner of the world? How are you innovating and creating a legacy? How are you evolving?
Okay. So it's interesting. I personally believe, and I do evolve, I think, every day. Mm-hmm. And today was just another day of evolving.
Yes.
And something I will share. I mean, it was a very vulnerable, very emotional day for me because for the, in years now, again, I'm coming out with some new stuff. And what it means opening up to the point where you feel really freaking uncomfortable, which I did. Yeah. And it came out very wasn't planned. I just did this post in the morning. I can't remember why now. Something kind of moved me to do it. Mm-hmm. And I just talked about my dark secrets. Mm-hmm. And I think this is what evolving is when you allow yourself to be completely transparent. And, just like you and many other people, believe me or not, telling me, oh, you are an angel, you have this angelic thing. And, and I was like laughing just yesterday that it's not true. So today I had to really put the stop to it and people were writing to me and telling me, Lira, this is what leaders do. They put themselves on the line and this is how I believe we are also evolved. It's not just about doing the work, but it is about going deeper and allowing ourselves, at least that's what I did, allowed myself to just relax into being myself, not judging myself, and screw the rest. If you judge me, this is it. This is what I am. And it feels liberating and emotional and beautiful.
Wow. That's amazing. So, I mean, like, what kind of things do you share when you're being that vulnerable self and like to evolve, for the purpose of evolution? What kind of what would you let go of? What would you be vulnerable about or transparent about?
So that is another level of transparency for me because I'm typically a pretty private person. So I don't, and I've been teaching my stuff for like 28 years. I've been on public doing this whole thing, and I always kept my own stuff to myself, thinking, and not only thinking, but kind of really feeling that that's not what's important. That's not what people need to know about me. I'm just this teacher. I'm just, shaking my hand, saying, do this, do that. And and at some point, I remember some years back now, one of the things I had to share was that my first husband committed suicide. And I could not talk about it. It was so painful. And once I shared it, I think it just launched, not only that it launched many of the projects that I did afterwards, but just how many, like you said, how many people I affected on the way, all those women who came to me and said, this is what I live and blah, blah. And I was like, and I was holding on to it. Like, that's my dark secret.
Right.
No. And today was just about some other stuff. And which was like, anyway, I'm not going into this because that's raw. But the things I would share would be personal things, and the ones that I feel incredibly secretive about. Those are the things nobody knows. Nobody, maybe my family knows. And then it's just kind of, the exercise is not to judge yourself anymore.
Right.
And that's what's going to let me be a better coach, be a better leader, whatever I'm doing there in the world. So, emotional.
Yeah, well, thank you for being willing to go there and having the courage to share, because I think, like you said, it's like when you put it off, when you take it off your back, when you stop carrying it and you stop making it, you stop judging it yourself, right? And you just let it go and you say, this is what it is, and let it go. I know for me, I was a couple months back, I was really just struggling to find my message and like why I was doing what I was doing, and coaching, and feeling like I'm lacking clarity, like my programs aren't enough, I'm not connecting with people, the pricing is seems like there's a disconnect, it just isn't working. And it's just like to be able to share that and be vulnerable about it is so important. And in this age of everyone has a voice and everyone has the ability to connect and be a broadcasting and receiving station, it gets easy to tune out the people who are like everyone else, just sharing information. I think it's the personal stuff that really connects people to the person to want to work with us, with each individual person.
Yeah. And sometimes, and I would even go further than that. And what you said actually today that's really cool when we come to talk about what makes a good coach is what we're talking about, is sharing that it's not a freaking easy path. And this is what I did on the way. But what I want to take that vulnerability and becoming public about your stuff, not only to the next level. It's not just about connecting to the audience. It is about challenging myself. Because when you are kind of already, got somewhere and you're successful, and people looking up to you, what is very easy to do, and I work with a lot of leaders, so I know exactly, they tell me that, and that's how I feel as well, that we are kind of on a pedestal, and we don't, and there's nobody challenging us to do freaking anything, because you're already doing great. Like, why would you, like, nobody comes and knocks on the door and says, hey, what's the next level for you? And so it's just us with ourselves. And this is what, so my next level of challenge was to come out with it for my own sake. And I actually said it, I'm just being selfish and sharing. I'm not really connecting. It just happened that I did connect with people, which is awesome. But it was challenge to me because I've been too comfortable where I had been for, some time now.
Wow. Amazing. I love this. This is juicy. We're already diving in. Anyone who's listening, you comment, give a thumbs up, let us know that you're loving this. And Lira, why don't you share a little bit more about what you're working on today? She's Got Passion, the center, like all the amazing stuff you got going on.
Okay. So it's actually, multidimensional in a way that I work. And one of them is she'sgotpassion.com. And this is just really for beginners, entrepreneurs. And I would say, like, I'm very precise in who I like to work with. So they would be passionate and creative. Those are two things. I only, there's lots of different businesses. I help people to sell their own self, their own talent, their own gift, skill, whatever that is. So they have to actually be the people who want to either create a program or a service or a product. So ideas, basically, how do you sell ideas? So that's one part of what I do. School of Inspired Life is another project. It's been there a while. I had not publicly launched it yet, but it's all happening. And like I was sharing with you yesterday, I had the first round of certification happening. So we have all those new healers and coaches, and I used to be a psychotherapist, and that's how I'm trained, besides like all sorts of other spiritual stuff. And in my life, I had been really disappointed with the mental health system, especially here. So it is kind of my take on what else could be done for people who are really needing emotional help with dealing with their own emotions, traumas, and stuff like that. So School of Inspired Life is actually preparing people, leaders, it's not just about coaches, but it is about also leaders who are doing non-profits, like all sorts of people who really have big mission in the world to get better at it, to get educated on how to become global. So this is what I'm doing with them. I'm really taking them to the next level. And then I have another one, which is a kind of secret company of mine, which I'm doing with my husband. And this is where we are developing apps for mental health. Because I'm very good at creating all sorts of like tools, where people can, within 15 minutes, they can do psychoanalysis. Within 15 minutes, they can get rid of stuff. So you just sit there on your phone and doing it. And it's pretty cool, like shadow work, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's my third thing. That's third baby.
That's awesome. Shadow work with the
shadow work in 15 minutes. That's
man. Oh man, that is brilliant. I am excited to see that develop. Keep us posted on that. You have to. Cool. So, we mentioned about some of the challenges that you had in your past. You mentioned you were a psychotherapist. What other challenges or, personal obstacles did you have to overcome to become the successful woman in certifying coaches and building apps and creating these foundations, all kinds of amazing stuff? What did you have to get through or break through to be where we are today?
I would say most of all, looking back also, it's most of all my own self. Mm-hmm. And whenever, and you had somebody today talking about ego, and I should watch that, because I got caught up with this woman with a drinking husband. I couldn't, I got hooked. Really cool. She was really good. I should check out other guests, but, so somebody was talking about ego stuff. So, so ego gets on the way, and I've been kind of born into doing my work. So my father was this big spiritual teacher, and I was kind of from from age of 17, I started teaching. I was already trained in late teen years. And by the time I was 17, I had people were already gathering around me and doing this whole, thing. I did not participate in that, but it happened. So I was doing my work, and what happened on the way that I neglected myself. I neglected my ego. I thought it's not about me, it's all about them. And where it took me is to see that I'm burning out, that there's too much work. I have family. So my ego was always like, I want to love, I want you. So I have 5 children. I was married, and I'm married now again. But it's been like a conflict within me, because I felt that is selfish. Making money and passion, right? Making money is selfish. Why should just enlighten people for free, which I was doing for years and years and years. And I call it ego being on the way, because if at the end of the day you're suffering while you are doing your beautiful work in the world, that doesn't serve anybody, because you will stop at some point. You'll have enough. You'll get frustrated. You'll get tired, and you'll give up. And that's just not on. So my biggest, thing that I had to overcome was actually just myself and my conflicts, and then I just had to get a grip and to learn business.
Yes.
And it's just totally different life. So I'm really, and I think I'm for sure affecting much many people now when I'm actually taking care of my other selfish part of me.
Totally. That self-care is, it's like a buzzword these days, but it's still so important, regardless of when people say cheesy or trite, master the basics and stuff like that. I'm just like, yes, people say I know that and they turn off, but it's the basics that really create the results. And I'm sure you've had to find ways to communicate the basics when you're certifying coaches and these, women who want to be that great coach, the provider, build an impact, build wealth, and be passionate about what they do. Oftentimes they want the answer, the solution, to be something else than it is. So I'm sure you've had experiences like that, but I want to get into, what it is to build that consistent coaching business. Where do we start off with that? How do we get that foundation right to be successful with it?
Perfect. I wanted to answer the first one about the basics.
Sure.
It's I tell, that's what I do, and that's what I teach my coaches. I said, you don't teach basics until they paid you. Yeah, if you're a health coach, you don't tell somebody you have to drink water because when you just said it for free, they're not going to drink water, and they're gonna what the heck are you telling me? To tell people to meditate, to tell people to love themselves, do that self-care. It's no, unless you're on my very expensive package, this is when we're gonna actually do it, and you will appreciate it, and you will have accountability. And yes, you will love yourself in a week. Like, I guarantee you that. But if I just tell you that, like you said, like, I mean, what are the chances? So how to become a successful coach is, at least what I've learned and what I teach now as a business coach, is that you do need to have a very good offer. You do need to work on that. And what you shared, that, you know, that finding that clarity, and the clarity, I think, has like two components to it. Like, number one is, first of all, actually knowing what your gift is. What is your gift? What is your innate gift, that whether you're doing coaching or whether you're doing, doesn't matter where you are, you would be always, you know, sharing yourself a certain way with the world. And that is your gift. And so creating an offer, it needs to be aligned with that. It doesn't need to be aligned with the market, but it needs to be aligned with who you are. And then the second part of it, as you said, clarity, which is kind of a next step almost, is how do you articulate it? How do you talk about it? When I interview people to come to my programs, I look at them, and if they coaches, and I say, so what do you sell? And they stutter, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, so as I can predict the success of a coach from how articulate they are about what they sell. And being articulate is the next stage. First, you need to know what it is. Then you, hopefully, when you work on yourself and get rid of the fear of being visible and all of that stuff, this is when you can expect yourself to become very vocal about it. And it's super important. So marketing is a second thing that will make you successful coach, is when you know how to market. In my teachings, I certainly bypass the whole funnel thing. I do. Just one of the coaches on the certification, and when I was teaching, they said, it's true. This is how I signed up with you, because I see you on the video and then I sign up. So I call it a two-step funnel. You make an impression, you make a strong first impression. That's all you need to do. Just be yourself, just like turned up self. And that's it. And then second thing, people fall in love with you and you work together because you're a match, you're an energetic match. You're not doing anything else except being yourself. And again, just like drinking water or loving yourself, it's a kind of a cliche, but it works. And many of my coaches who had been already, they have big tribes and, you know, thousands of people, of followers, and they preach from the Facebook Live every day and nothing. They're like, where's my money?
Right.
Where's the money? Where are the clients? And when I teach them to turn it around and kind of speak different way about what you do, and turn up yourself and stop imitating and come up with something freaking new at last, you know, this is when the motion happens. And then when I'm watching my clients and I see those people, me, please, I want you to work with you. And this is what we want. This is what I'm at least teaching, that you are. And one of my clients also said, I walk into the room and everybody follows me. That's the kind of marketing we're talking about. You become the marketing. You are the brand, whatever you are, right? With your flaws and all that stuff.
Yep.
And then the next thing is, of course, to generate, you know, I mean, marketing, what is it? And sales. Yeah, big thing I'm teaching is sales. Because I was the most useless person. I could not say a word dollar. Like, literally, I would stutter. Like, I could not charge for what I do because I didn't understand. All those poor people, they died. They depressed. And, oh, my God. And they poor and they broke. And then I was like, I just couldn't say the word dollar. I had to do so much work to overcome that. And partially, it was the learning the process of sales. So you're not doing it like some kind of like a cheesy, I don't know what they call this easy thing, because in understanding what the value you're providing, the pricing and all of that stuff comes with it. So sales is a big deal. You have to learn sales, guys. Whatever you're doing. I was this artist who, when I did art for decades, exhibiting everywhere, but the same thing with money. I did not know how to sell, so I had an art agent to sell my stuff, but I saw what the difference is between the whatever you receive at the end, you know. So you can have your sales teams and you can have all of that stuff, but if you actually can do it yourself, you are the one. You are in charge, and you are your best.
And it's like, to be a good leader, if you want to be a good coach too, right? You have to sell. You have to sell your clients on taking action, following through, being accountable, showing up and doing their best. And if you can't like sell your coaching, what makes you think that you're going to be able to sell them to take those actions, you know?
This is so cool. I should write this down. If you can't sell your coaching, how can you sell your, prescriptions? Yeah.
Wow. So if we are clear on what our gift is and we're able to articulate it, what's the breakdown between that and marketing it effectively? You mentioned strong first impression. You mentioned people falling in love with you. So if we're clear on, I have a passion and I know how to articulate it, but I'm just still not making that impression or the impact that I want to in the marketing, what would be something that we can do or our audience can do if that's the case?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So one of the big, hugest perhaps, or is just as important, is not just you as you are, but also who do you serve? So, and this is why it's so great that we're talking. If there's many beginner coaches, they would really appreciate this. That when you start marketing, you want to already decide who your audience is beforehand. You don't just come out and see what happens. And this is like in sales, like I've seen that in like even some mentors, they say about sales, like, see what happens, just get a lot of no's, coach for free, that stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. That's not really going to make you wealthy, and therefore, effective, right? As we know. But so what I teach is focus and intention and strategy. Be very strategic. And you're hearing it from the most intuitive, angelic person you can. I'm here talking about structure, and I'm here talking about strategy and focus. So believe me, it means something. Like if I really think that, because most of us intuitives, we think we go with the flow and it's going to happen. It's the kind of entitlement of an inner child, which is your ego. So it's nothing to do with your spirit. Your spirit's got no problem with making effort, like if you want, right, or have energy to make any effort that is needed. But it is your little inner child who wants things unconditionally. I don't do it, but still happens. I don't know. Sales are it's a work. It's some work to do. And so when you are thinking about those two components in marketing, you have to think about your audience. Your audience is very important. You decide. The mistake I said lots of people make is that when they go just me, talking about me and things that I love, and they forget that there are people to serve. And any business would only survive and thrive if it's serving somebody, if it actually adds value to somebody. So that somebody needs to be on the other side, and that somebody needs to be capable of receiving what you've got. And what I've learned when you are deciding on your ideal client or your client is that those people need to be 95% in. They need to be already on the journey. You shouldn't be the first person to awake them, because financially speaking, it's a really hard work to get them to the point of investing, right? So coaches out there. So when you're identifying your people, you want to look at those. Okay, are they already doing something about it? Have they already tried? Maybe they failed, but you want people who did not fail. People who, for example, like myself, I hire coaches all the time. When I hear those stories, I hired 10 coaches and everybody was bad. And I'm like, whoa, it's like getting married, many times to the same exact person and repeating the same freaking trauma and drama, and then thinking that it's all their fault, but it's you doing this, right? So it's the same thing. If you had not gotten result from anybody, you have to really examine what's going on there, what kind of self-sabotaging thing you playing out there. But what you want is somebody who had already maybe had a coach, maybe already had done some program, gotten the success or some success, and now they want the next level. This is who you would need to market to. And that is, I think, a smart thing to do, which I did not know when I was starting out.
Yeah, what I love about today is we can create our ideal client, our perfect client. Like we create it, we choose who we want to work with. So it's like if we say, well, I've only worked with, or I only deserve to work with people who are earning, $20,000 a year. Well, then that's what you're going to get, and that's what you're going to attract. But if you want to find someone who is earning more money, and you can bring your solution to them in integrity, and it solves their problem and it adds the value, then why wouldn't you target a more affluent group of people if they have the problem that you can solve?
Yeah, and the money is such an excuse. Everybody knows it. I mean, every mentor in sales will tell you that it's always an excuse. People do have money, and when I'm looking at my clients, when I'm looking at myself, how I was investing, and some people will probably mention, I'm sure we're talking about this on your marathon, which is so great of you to do, that we all had to overcome that very initial fear about investing in ourselves, and most often we didn't even have the whole thing. We only had the first installment to pay.
Yeah.
When you're doing this, I often what happens with my clients is that as soon as they did that, oh my God, this gesture, and I charge a lot. It's like, wow. So, and then I don't even before the session, we have a week.
Yeah.
And miracles happen within that week. So before I even open my mouth and start doing anything,
wow,
miracles happen. Like the last one was this woman. She had 100 interviews. She couldn't get a job. 100 interviews. Can you imagine? And she had this really high-flying job before. So it was real big, downer for her. And over a year, nothing. And then she did what she needed to do. She hired me. And before the session, 3 days later, she got 3 interviews. People came to her and she got a job.
Wow.
And I was like, so by the time we started working, she's like, wow. Well, I don't really need me anymore. But we worked on the next big thing. But what I'm saying is this is what faith is. This is what our energy, it's energetic, that kind of gesture of I'm playing fully and is energetic. And money is just a representation of that. For some people who have plenty of money and they don't really sweat about, 100K investing into, some kind of whatever, growth or healing, for them it needs to be something else, something that matters to them.
Yeah.
Matter to you. What are you putting on the line? This is how you're going to get success. So I can't remember why we started talking about this, but I'm sure. I hope I didn't completely.
It's great. It's great. It's all perfect and valuable. I think everything here is a relevant conversation for our audience. So, what other mistakes do you see people making when it comes to the sales? Like when it comes to a sales conversation, what mistakes do you see coaches making so that they think that they have the sale, but then it ends up falling out, or the call, that's I'd say that's the typical things. Like the call went great, and it's like, okay, did you collect the money? No, but it's gonna happen or something.
I know. So number one, this is such a pain for everybody, right? So number one is, first of all, you have to take a deposit.
Yeah.
You have to get something, and it's non-refundable. Like for example, everybody who works with me, nothing is refundable. It's really, that's it. That's what we're doing. I'm not wasting my time. Part of it is marketing. You're pre-qualifying your people. It's really, really important that, as we just talked about, that you are not only that you deliberately, very consciously choosing who you want to work with, and that it should make sense for both of you, especially for you. So you are viable and you can be, you're paid well, etc. But in working with motivated people, which is much more interesting than dragging somebody.
Oh, yeah.
But so you're pre-qualifying them throughout your whole marketing. This is what, some people say positioning and credibility, you put in your whatever certifications, PhDs. But what is much more important is how you let people treat you. The self-respect, the respect you have for yourself, your own gift. And the more you know what it is, the more clear you are about it. This is where the respect comes from. Then you can see how it's affecting others. You have the testimonials, you have the results. You don't need testimonials, you need just to see that you are succeeding with your method and being yourself, coaching people. And through that, your marketing already pre-qualifies people. So people who come to you, if you respect yourself, you respect your time, like, how many, and, bless everybody's hearts who is reaching out, but I have a lot of, like maybe 3 a day. I have people want to have conversation with me. And there's an application form, which I recommend. I don't care if you're beginner or not. Create an application form where you ask people about what do they want. Are they ready to invest on the call? Because that's what you do. I mean, maybe some other neighbor coach doesn't do it, but you do that. You take deposit. So you have to come with the cash on the call. And when that is clear, then it's fine. Like, you wouldn't go to the shop, pick a washing machine and not leave any money. Like that, nobody does that, right?
Right.
So why are you treating yourself differently? Because you don't go to, just went to Safeways. You don't go and pick your groceries and just walk out.
Right.
Right. So it's like, it's normal, right? So you have to treat yourself just the same way. You're just doing your job. It's a job. You're just saving somebody's life. It's actually a job that needs to be paid for. And so success of your sales would depend on how you prepare the audience, that you're a person who charges. And like I'm qualifying coaches. And just now, our first thing we were talking about, I said there will be no free coaching given out. And they're like, oh my God, but I don't know what I'm doing. I said, I don't know. First of all, you're going to be practicing. So they're practicing with each other and myself. But when you're coming out, the accountability, it's not just for your people, but it's for you. Because if you charged for it, you have to deliver. You cannot be and people are all saying here, right? And especially all the givers, like, we have huge integrity. We have high standards for ourselves. And when we are not accountable, what of it comes out? Free advice on the bench with your friends, and then you talk with your friend 10 years later doing exactly the same thing. It's not that kind of conversation. So sales are happening before actual sales call is on. And then, of course, ditch your script. Be real. You heard me say that reality check is a new spirituality. Being real is super important. Being present. One of the things I talk about is why many people fail, doesn't matter with what, but with their mission, is that because they have intimacy issues. Because what it means is that you're going to be sitting with somebody else, look them in the eye, and ask them for money for something that you give to them. This is very intimate. This is not normal. This is not what everybody else does. And you have to be vulnerable in that space, and you have to be open to receive any kind of answer. And where the sales fail, they fail because people don't even dare to do that. And when they ask, they didn't have boundaries. You see people who ghost them, disappear afterwards. The sales call was great. I did such a good job. I gave so much. I probably already changed their life, and they still didn't pay me, right? So it's about you and how do you treasure your time. So my sales calls, which all of my clients literally, they say, thank you, you gave it to me. Because I forbidden them to give away hours or sometimes 2 hours. In some coaching schools, they teach you 2 hours of free coaching. And I said 15 minutes. And if you're qualifying, so what you're doing on the sales call, you're not really giving anything. What you're doing, you're interviewing people. I interview people. I don't, on the sales call, I don't try to please them. Like, I'm certainly not pleasing in my interviewing. I'm just like asking really nasty questions, like, how much money do you make? How much hustle do you do? And why so little, we are really actually discussing like what's wrong.
Yeah.
And what's wrong is what you need to know to be able to then decide whether this person is worth for you, investing into, because you are investing your everything that you have. as a coach. So forget the script. Instead, set up those appointments where you interview people to become your client. And then if you do, I teach very often my clients, like, how do you get rid of people who are not, that's not a match.
Mm-hmm.
And because you're polite, you're nice, so you don't know how to say it. So they practice. How do you say it? Oh, I thought, as soon as they answered your question, and it's like, yeah, but I'm thinking about it. And, I don't really know. Like, I had people, like, I asked them, how, are you 100% in? I'm 70% in. I said, well, you're not going to even get 15 minutes with me, because, I really don't talk with people who are 70% in, because, like, I'm 100% in on you. I'm sold on you. Like, I want to help you. Why are you 70% in? So one of the mistakes, you asked about mistake, one of the biggest mistakes coaches do, because they're so passionate, they care about they clients' goals more than they freaking clients do.
Yeah.
That's a red flag.
Yeah.
So calm yourself, sustain yourself, pace yourself, see where your real value is. It's probably not about carrying somebody else's mission, because you have your own. So that's so intimacy issue. Once you sorted them out, once you're not afraid to sit with people's pain, with their feelings, you're not trying to cover it up, or you're feeling bad about your sales, you're not selling enough. It's okay. So you know what friends do, right? It's okay. No, it's not okay. So that's what as a coach on the sales call, this is what you want to do. You want to put people on the spot. You want to intervene. You want to really say, guys, that's bad.
Yeah.
You're smoking, you're going to die. If you're working with, your funnel, and you're making $2,000 at the end of that funnel, that's too bad, because nobody can live on $2,000. That's it. Like, so much hustle for very little money. So where's the leak, and how to fix it? So this is what you do on the sales call. And typically it should make a total sense. You want to take your person to become an adult. You're not speaking with a child. You're speaking with an adult. And this is how sales happen, when people are present. Nobody's afraid to talk about money. You are telling your price. They are listening to you. I don't know if they want to bargain. Hopefully not. But if you want to drop your price, because whatever you're doing, there you want to have a quick sale, or you want to, pay it in full, this is great, where you drop your price. This is all up to you. You need to be able to be articulate about it.
Right.
And not look in the eye when you're talking about money, because most, like, oh my God, like I just gave, and now my voice went down and I started stuttering. I used to do that. So just not anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say, to know your limits of what you're willing to go to the bottom of, like what like, if you're going to drop your price or be flexible, whatever, like, figure out what those limits are before you even go into the conversation, so you're ready to, have that max and minimum. So the next question I wanted to ask is, what does it take to create a sustainable coaching business? What does that require?
Well, if you are just beginning and basic, you want to marketing. That's what makes it consistent, because you're always marketing. Now, on the other level, what really helps is automating your whole thing, because somebody just even today was telling me, oh, like, this video you posted, it's like this and that. I'm like, which video? I don't know, because I put everything in motion 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I schedule everything. I don't sit there on Facebook all the time. Like, you caught me yesterday. That's great. But otherwise, I just come out when I feel like it. I do Facebook Live. I came out because I feel like it. I don't, but everything else is automated. My feelings got nothing to do with my marketing. So guys, that's a great tip for you. Don't wait for inspiration. Don't think that, because most of the time, when it really comes to you breaking the ceiling of your income, because it's a ceiling that is it's your mindset, that this is where you have to break through. So you will reach at some point that you cannot get any better. So the success, you kind of limiting yourself. I mean, that's what you need to do. But because of that, you will someday not to feel like marketing. You will think, oh, I don't really feel like writing a post or doing this Facebook Live or marathon. Imagine you like, oh, next Wednesday, like, whatever, guys. Like, I feel a little down. Like, you know what I mean? It's like we all do that. Like, I know I don't always feel like coming out and talking about stuff or teaching or giving, you know. And sometimes I'm needy or angry. I mean, I don't want that to be on my marketing. So instead, when I'm really sane, when I'm in my zone, I sit and I use Hootsuite. You use whatever people you want. That this is the next level. Means your posts are there. You are posting when you're inspired, and then you can just do whenever you feel like it. You come out and you are being current. One of the things I battled with, because I listened to all those other people telling me that you have to be this and that, have a niche, and I'm very creative. Like I can't help it. I get bored with only working with certain type of people. So I diverse, and I allowed myself to be like I am very diverse and versatile, and do healing and do business coaching and do arts and blah blah, and work with artists and work with coaches or work with lawyers. I mean, I don't know, like I have all sorts of different people, and I go through phases. And marketing typically reflects that. Whatever I'm working on, you're probably going to know about it because I will be teaching that. It's kind of like a conversation, and it's current. And I think it's a good, easy way to market.
Wow. Yeah. The power of conversation in marketing and sales is so critical, you know, kind of going full circle back to the start when we were talking about being vulnerable and kind of share what's going on in our personal life. You know, I think that those days where we don't feel like, you know, sharing or doing a Facebook Live, I think that's the best time to, you know, if we can muster it up or it's appropriate kind of thing, then it's the best time to jump on and say, you know what, I didn't feel like doing this video today, but, you know, I have such a commitment and a fire burning inside me, a passion to make a difference for people, you know, and I care about you so much, and I wanted to share this message with you that I decided to like break through it and break through my own BS. And that's such a great place to stand from and share with people so that they're inspired to take on their own junk.
That is so true, and this is what I always teach. By the way, I will have like a TEDx talk about it, where I will be talking about healing, and I think like a semi kind of like a title for it is "Heal so you can serve." So a lot of people who are experiencing all sorts of traumas, whatever, they stuck with their own emotions and whatever happened to them. And what I invite, instead of like sitting there and thinking, somehow I have to get better, let your purpose pull you out of that misery. Because when you understand that it is not about you, it is not about you, this little tiny little you, who cares? Like really, like that's what it's not really about me. It is that the people that are waiting right now, and if you did not share, like if I did not share a story today, I wouldn't meet all of those people who, again, told me how right now I'm affecting their lives. Their lives are affected and are better because I gotten over myself and I said, okay, I don't care if I'm going to be crying and my makeup's not going to be nice or whatever, like, or I have a bad hair day, which is like always almost, like, I don't know. But I don't use shampoo, by the way, for 8 years. So.
Wow.
Yes, it's my husband he's got his own movement, which is no shampoo. Like so we've been married 10 years. For the first 2 years, I've been like laughing at him. I was like, what are you doing? And then I really got into it and I really love it. But that is not an excuse for me not to market and not to come out and give my, speeches.
I love it. So other really final parting words for the coaches out there, wherever you want to share to, if they're at the beginning of their journey or intermediate, whatever you feel called to share. But final takeaways, final points that you really wanted our audience to get.
So number one, stop taking yourself so seriously. It's really, like I just mentioned, in the funniest thing, it is not about you, even though your inner child, your ego self definitely needs attention and recognition and love. This is that process. But your soul, your spirit came here already. You're an old soul. If you want to be a coach, this is like not like most people out there. When you're in a coaching industry, what it seems to you right now that like everybody is a freaking coach. Like this is a coach, and that's a coach, and that's a best-selling author, and that's another author. Everybody's enlightening people, but that's because we are in it. But when you actually go to the big wide world and you see what's happening there, how people do need help, and they need healing, and they need all this attention and love and everything that we are already innately somehow born to do. So think of yourself as an old soul that came here with a mission and a purpose. And this is what's going to take you out of your comfort zone, out of your poo-poo me self, out of your whatever, I don't feel like it, like I'm not disciplined enough, I don't need to learn, I don't want to invest, like whatever's happening within that, just know that there are other people actually that you already have a soulful contract with, and you need to serve them. So go and serve them and do whatever it takes, because life is short. When you look back, it's not about like, oh, like I preserved myself. I lived a very nice, safe life. Nope. But it's more like, but who cares? Who cares about your life? That is really, really, I think it's the reason that pulls you to do your work. So that would be my final words. Wherever you are, remember that it's not about you. Remember it is about your work. My little baby's coming here. Baby, she's 9. So, yes. So those are my final words.
Awesome. Beautiful.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. Lira, how do people stay connected with you, get more info, if they want to find out about your coaching, if they want to join your communities, what do they do?
Okay, so the easiest way is, of course, I think you probably tagged me. So the easiest way is to go and click and investigate. I have a lot of stuff going on. I am, would be the word, like a prolific. I'm very prolific. I'm very spontaneous marketer, and because I have a lot of energy, so I'll do a lot of things, just like yourself, right? So you will find a lot of free trainings. If any of this marketing and sales stuff was like, oh, what is she? Sounds like I should know more about it, and definitely go learn about this intuitive sales and like energetics of sales, like what's really happening with people. It's all on my page, Lira Kay. You can also find it in many groups. I have a men's group called, I don't even remember what it's called, like Radical Healing for Men with Ambition, something like that. I come out with those names, then I forget. I have a elite mastermind for women in power. This is for women entrepreneurs. I have the one where if you are a coach and it doesn't matter what you do, if you have a mission and you want to promote yourself and share and hang out with other people the same like you want to go to Art of Giving. Art of Giving. I have the group, and everybody can post there, and typically like people post the Facebook Lives, interviews, articles, like services, whatever you want. It's just really for us to expose your mission to the world. What else? Free training on my website, shesgoodpassion.com, how to create and sell high-end offers. So if you want to charge a lot, like I do, I would advise you to go check out how do you actually create an offer that is worth it for other people. And it's very straight, it's very business savvy, but also, obviously with integrity and heart and all of that stuff. So that's it.
Awesome. Lira, you are a superstar. Thank you so much for coming on today. Seriously, whether you feel like you got some darkness or you're angelic, either way, you're perfect just the way you are. Thanks for bringing yourself to this conversation to our audience. And everyone who's listening, definitely stay connected with Lira. She is inspirational, doing so many amazing things. And Lira, thanks for coming on, and have the best day ever.
Thank you. And good luck with the rest of the marathon.
Thank you, Lira. We'll see you soon, okay?
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.